Hey, my name's Steve Larsen, and this is Sales Funnel Radio.
Welcome to Sales Funnel Radio, where you'll learn marketing strategies to grow your online business using today's best internet sales funnels. And now, here's your host, Steve Larsen.
All right. So yesterday was my wife's birthday, right? I don't know if I'm saying right. You probably didn't know that. But yesterday was my wife's birthday, and we went to, well, okay, I'll tell you a little backstory. So like a week or two ago, we're driving back from this family reunion. I did a podcast a little while ago about one of my ancestors' graves that we visited over there. But anyway, so on our drive back, my wife was like, hey, like growing up, we did, it was my family culture. We just never really did a lot, as far as we went putt-putting the other day. That's really like the second or third time in my life. And I was like, what? Are you kidding? She's like, I've never done like bumper cars or, go-karts or rock climbing or any of that. I was like, are you joking me? This is amazing. We have a whole childhood to go catch up on. This is nuts. So there's a lot more to that story, obviously. But the whole point is that my wife and I are going around. We're doing all these little kid things that she never did growing up. It just wasn't her family's culture to do that. So yesterday was her birthday. So last night we decided to go, and she wanted to go to one of those huge trampoline places. It's like one of those rooms where it's just full of trampolines. There's one here called Jump Time. There's one called I Jump, I think, over in Denver. Anyways, there's like a whole bunch of those places, right? So we've been going place to place to place. This may not have a whole lot to do with sales funnels, but I think there's an important lesson here, actually, and it actually does directly correlate. For me, it has on how fast I build sales funnels and how good they look. So, anyways, so we're over there. We're jumping on the tramps. It's a lot of fun. She and I are there's basketball hoops with the floor being a trampoline. So we're flying through the air, doing dunks and stuff. It was really fun. And there's huge foam pits. We're doing all these flips, jumping into these huge foam pits. And anyways, it's a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. But what was killing me is that, so, I mean, I'm 28, right? And I look a little bit like a kid still, but obviously I'm not. But all these adults are standing on the side while all these young teenagers are with us jumping all over the place. And I could tell that some of them were just well, he's an adult. He shouldn't be doing that, I'm not going to jump on the trampoline because I'm an adult. And I was like, oh my gosh, just go barf. Play on the highway. Do something. That's nuts. I can't believe that you would say something like that. So the reason that bothered me so much is because I had this this teacher in college, this professor. He's actually one of the, I'm not trying to be mean to anyone else, but there's really only 3 teachers or professors or whatever that had a huge impact on me. And this guy was one of them. And we were in a marketing class once, and the whole semester, all they do is they take you and they say, hey, this whole semester, all you're going to go do is make a business. It's not made for you. You need to go grow the whole thing and try and be making lots of money by the end of the semester. And I mean, huge learning opportunity. Holy crap. Because, we vote each other who's going to be CEO. I will say that I was voted as that. What? And then, we broke ourselves up into different groups, and we went and we tackled an idea, and we started making $2 or $3 grand a week, which isn't bad when you're restricted to only making the money on campus. So we're pulling $2 or $3 grand a week from the campus students. But anyways, there was a lesson that this guy gave us, this teacher, and I remember one day he sat down and he could tell we were struggling with one. I can't even remember what it was, but the lesson is what I remember. And we sat down and he had all these toys, kid toys, all around the room. And he had a few squirt bottles also. And he said, okay, we're going to have a brainstorming session, but the rule is, in order to actually contribute an idea, what you have to do is you have to pick up a toy and you have to be playing with it. Whatever it is, silly putty or Legos or something, whatever it is that you're going to be saying, the whole time you need to be playing with some kind of toy in the room, something that's typically for a kid, right? And you're like, what? What's this guy doing? And it was weird, but cool. What happened? He's like, all right, everyone go grab a toy. And we're like, okay. It was a little awkward at first when we like are grabbing these toys and we start playing with them. And what's interesting is that as we started playing with these different toys and we started doing little kid stuff, our creativity shot through the roof, right? I mean, just exploded through the roof. And we started coming up with the craziest ideas, and we started destroying all the other student businesses and with these ideas. And we went out and we executed them, and they were fantastic. I mean, we tried to enter the Guinness Book of World Records for the large. Anyways, we did a lot of fun stuff, and but his whole point. Oh, so I'll tell you the story though. So as we would be brainstorming, as we'd be tossing ideas up on the board. I mean, we put hundreds of ideas on this board. We were trying to figure out what different ways to market and be creative with stuff, and huge brainstorming sessions. And what was interesting though is that whenever somebody like poo-pooed or downed another person's idea, I don't know how else to say that. Whenever they talked bad about someone's idea or smirked or said, that's a stupid idea. You know what I mean? Like made that kind of gesture. Everyone in the classroom grabbed a squirt gun and shot the other person in the face and screamed "bad kitty." I don't get the bad kitty part, but it was kind of funny though. Like the whole purpose was that when you're brainstorming, when you're doing things that cause you to, when you're coming up with ideas, being playful causes more creativity. People who are boring have a really hard time being creative, right? People who are so worried about following the rules and I will follow the law and I'm not jumping on the trampoline because I'm an adult, like that's stupid. Don't ever do that. It really helps a lot. What's kind of funny is that right now I'm holding a golf ball. I just play with it in my hands. I don't know. I like to golf. I'm not amazing at it, but I think it's fun. My boss has all these little knickknacks on his desk. Like, he and I just fidget with stuff, and it's kind of fun. I have a blow dart gun next to my desk. I'll just shoot stuff around the office while we're starting to come up with ideas and things like that. And that kind of creative atmosphere is very, very, it's like a catalyst. If you look at like Google, the way they do, Google's campus is like a playground. They have all sorts of random stuff there. It's not like I sit around in these cubicles and stuff. They got like beanbag chairs all over the place. Same with like, if you ever heard of the company IDEO, it's IDEO. I think that's how you say it. Anyways, they're responsible for like how the toothbrush looks today and all these appliances and the things that are normal. They're the ones that kind of innovated all that stuff. The way shopping carts are and things. Anyways, go look them up. They're really cool. They have a really awesome innovative process that they go through every time they're making an idea. And it was funny because last night I was looking at it and I was like, these adults are just standing by the side watching their kids jump on trampolines when there's nothing that was stopping them. It wasn't expensive. Anyways, they were jumping around all over we were jumping around all over the place, and it's just fun. It's cool to see, that creative fun streak where the brain is just going nuts. There's a really good book called Why Right Brain Thinkers Will Rule the World, right? And it's a book that goes through that says, I wish I had it with me. It's a book that goes through and says, hey, look, the basics of life are kind of taken care of, right? And that's a very left brain thing. Where do I get food? How do I survive? I got a mate. You know what I mean? It goes through the list and it says, look, here's all the things that are human needs, and physically for you to stay alive, there's a lot of processes built around those things now. You're not hunting for food all the time. Especially if you're living in America, that's very true. We're so commercialized, like we're not fighting for food. We have a surplus of food in this country. Which probably goes without saying, so many obese people, but we have so much abundance, whatever it is, that we now crave things that have to do with creativity, right? That's where the right brain comes in. That's where creativity comes in. And we say, hey, how can I make this process better? How can I take the process of communicating better? Well, Steve Jobs understood that for sure. I'm holding my iPhone right now, right? I'm looking at my Apple computer right now, my MacBook, and And it's all about how can I make a process more smooth and better for faster for somebody else. And that's why right brain thinkers will rule the world in the future, because all these other left brain activities are taken care of. Well, anyways, in the book, I can't remember who it's by. I think it's Daniel Pink. I think that's how you say his name. Anyways, in the book it says that the creative mind, it starts giving all these ways to become more creative, and in there it talks about play and the importance of play, and even though it's something that you typically think as an adult for kids, and you think, hey, this is for child. These are for kid things. I'm not saying you got to go practice, playing with a Barbie doll and Ken doll, but I mean, if that's what gets you into it, sure. I mean, they said even appropriate amounts of video games is good for the brain as far as problem solving and things like that. So like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of some time of a play or game or something like that is really, really, really good for you when you start getting into these creative moments. So anyways, I was just laughing yesterday because I could tell I was getting all these like weird looks by parents. Like, what? This guy's jumping in the foam pit? 190-pound dude jumping into foam next to all these little kids? Who's he think he is? Having fun. What a goober. By the beard of Zeus. He should get out, Like, oh gosh, you guys are gonna die. You should just die. I mean, like, what are you doing in life if you're not enjoying it? I don't know. I have strong opinions on this. Obviously, I'm making a podcast about it. But so, anyways, if you're gonna go through brainstorming sessions, number one, don't badmouth any idea that comes out from anyone. Often you'll see what happens in brainstorming sessions or in creativity sessions or things you're trying to make something is that you'll have one kind of mainstream logical idea, but then someone else will come out with this crazy left-wing idea, this way out, and say, hey, what about this? What about this? And it's just, it's crazy. It's like, well, we should have emus in the commercial, something nuts. But what's funny is that when you blend the two ideas together and you put them up on the board, you actually get something that's actually prolific and something that's that your competition is not thinking about doing. And so whenever you're brainstorming, like don't down the ideas that seem crazy or dumb or the ones that aren't complex enough or things that won't take over, things that aren't going to max your 4.0 and I hate that. Just start putting out all these different ideas, mainstream crazies, and it'll start to blend together in this really cool space that most likely your competitors are not in. And so when I'm building sales funnels, this is where I'm going to tie it all in. All right, I promise there's a point to this. When I'm building sales funnels, I play. I think of play. I think of it like playing. It's especially when you use something like ClickFunnels. It's like playing a video game almost. I mean, it's super fun. It's I listen to awesome music, whether it's like really intense rock or like dubstep. I enjoy the moment, whatever it is. I take my shoes off. I am always barefoot, and I just have fun building. I put my sweet oversized headphones on that make me look like a DJ that's kind of goofy, but I love it. I'm in my element. And because of that, creativity starts to flow and I start to come up with these cool things. And I've made a lot of sales funnels, like 20 or 30 in the last year, custom ones. And anyways, right now you guys know that I'm building real estate sales funnels, and it's going great. Almost done with the 3 core funnels that I'm using to help realtors sell more and automate more. There's a lot of routine work in real estate. So anyways, and the creativity, excuse me, the creativity aspect of it is very, very important. You have to have that. Or else you just stay mainstream and there's nothing different with you, and literally the only thing you'll compete on is price because you have nothing else that differentiates you. So you have to find something else to make you prolific, or something else that makes you easier to use or smarter or some way to get ahead. Otherwise, like I said, you have to compete on price. And I've said this before in other podcasts, but like if you are competing only with a coupon and you're saying, well, we'll make ours 50% off, you're gonna die. I mean, that's the Kmart way, and they're out of they're going the way of all the earth. They're dying, unless you pull it off like Kohl's. And anyway, there's other scenarios that work with that. But there's just nothing else that differentiates you besides price. You're in a dangerous spot. So find some way to be prolific. And the easiest way to do it is be creative. And the easiest way to be creative is to be playful. And the easiest way to be playful is to play. Anyways, guys, I don't want to beat a dead horse on this, but man, go like play. Go do something that's fun, that your brain has fun. Like, okay, last little rant with this section, I promise. I'm trying not to make this podcast like a rant podcast, but at the same time, like, some things just really piss me off as an adult. Like, I hate being an adult sometimes. Like, man, no, I'm a little kid at heart forever. Like, okay, I took my kids over to this playground, right? And we're over there, and as soon as I get there, I'm seeing the exact same thing over at the trampoline, place or whatever. All these adults standing on the side with their arms folded. Yeah, yes, I am an adult, and I will watch my kid play. I don't do this because I'm an adult. I don't know where that whole thing's coming from that I'm saying right here, but it's just, it ticks me off. I get on the freaking playground with my kid. I get on the swings. I go down the slides. I do all of it, and it teaches my kid how to play, right? And because of that, I feel like it helps my little girl be creative. It teaches her how to play. It teaches them how to entertain themselves. It teaches them how to be creative. They'll go and my little girl has these markers, and she'll go and like draw all over on this whiteboard on our fridge, and she gets so excited about it, so proud about it. She didn't really start that though until a little while ago, but anyways, I don't know if it's totally working or if it's because of the stuff that I'm doing, but I like to think that. But anyways, I don't want to be a dad or a guy or a business person who is so uptight that I can't participate. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny. A little while ago, I posted something on Facebook, and I was like, hey, sorry I'm wearing a shirt and tie in this. Haha, just kind of a joke. And one of my buddies commented back, and he goes, don't worry, man. No one took you for a shirt and tie guy anyway. And I was like, sweet. You guys are all getting it then. But when you start to go play and do, the right side of your brain fires all over the place. Electrons going nuts. And your noggin loves it, because obviously you are. So anyways, guys, have an awesome day. If you guys have any questions or anything, I do have the Hey Steve show, which is just also on the same podcast. I just do them all on the same podcast. Interviews, my own thoughts, and Hey Steve show. But if you got questions and you want to ask any kind of question about your own sales funnel, the last question I answered, I think, was about e-commerce. But if you go to salesfunnelbroker.com, up at the top, click on podcast, and right on the webpage, you can record a voicemail to me, and it will email that message over to me, and you can ask a question. And I kind of vet the questions, and I go through for the wands that would be good for the show. And if yours was one on the show, I send you a Hey Steve t-shirt, and they look pretty cool. I did kind of like a crowdsourcing design, and that's kind of the one they all came up with, and it looks really sweet. So anyways, guys, I will talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Sales Funnel Radio. Please remember to subscribe and leave feedback. Have a question you want answered on the show? Get your free t-shirt when your question gets answered on the live Hey Steve show. Visit salesfunnelbroker.com now to submit your question.